Hey, hey, how you doing?
Hey there, guys, and welcome to the Free China live stream. Wow, 2 live streams within the space of a few days. What is going on? And what on earth is China crying about this time? So, travelers arriving into England from China will now have to show a negative COVID test. So the UK or England, I'm not sure about the rest of the UK if Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland are following the same strategy here. But England follows a growing list of countries tightening the rules for arrivals from China as the country deals with this massive jump in COVID cases after they scrapped this crazy 3 years of zero COVID thing that they had going on there. It really is quite crazy. So people arriving into England from China, doesn't matter if you're from China, you could even be a British citizen, but when you're arriving into China, you'll now have to provide a negative COVID test before flying into the country, the government has said. I think it's one of those 48-hour PCR tests, and China are furious about this. China is absolutely livid. Let's see what they're saying. Let's see what they have to say about this. So this is somebody from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Her name is Mao Ning. Not sure if she's any relation to good old Mao Zedong.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's any relation to Mao Zedong or even what's Mao Zedong's grandson's name? I forget that guy's name, you know. He's like an army general. He's a complete dumbass. So anyway, this is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China, and this is what they're saying about these COVID tests that are now required for all Chinese citizens and anybody coming from China to the UK, Australia, the USA. So many other countries are on this list right now. Let's see what she has to say.
国际社会加强沟通，共同努力战胜疫
Sorry, let's
情。
just take it back there and we'll have a look properly. Here we go.
我们愿同国际社会加强沟通，共同努力战。
Okay, so they want to cooperate with the world and work together to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, sounds good so far, doesn't it?
战胜疫情，同时也认为
But we also believe that the entry restrictions that some
部
countries
分国家采取仅针对中国的
imposed only on China lack scientific basis. Okay.
入境限制措施缺乏科学依据，一些过度做法
Some excessive practices are simply unacceptable. Okay.
更让人不能接受。我们对试图
What we are firmly opposed to attempts to manipulate the epidemic prevention. Wait a minute, isn't that what they've been doing for the past 3 years? Okay.
操弄疫情防控措施，以达到政治目的。
And control measures for political purposes. Wait a minute, isn't that what China has been doing for the last 3 years? Am I going crazy here or something? What is she talking about?
的做法表示坚决反对，将针对不同
And we'll take corresponding measures in different situations according to the principle of reciprocity.
情况，本着对等原则进入疫情防控
Okay, since entering a new stage of epidemic prevention and
的新阶
control,
段以来，中国的疫苗
China has continuously improved its vaccination rate, enhanced its treatment
接
capacity,
种率不断提高，救治能力不断增强，医疗物资产能不
and expanded its production capacity of medical resources with sufficient supplies. Okay, what's this got to do with having to require a 48-hour PCR test to come into other
不
countries?
断扩大，总体供应充足。中国建成了
The world's largest COVID-19 vaccination production line has been built. I mean, don't you think it's a little bit too late, China?
全球最大规模的新
How long have you had to get this vaccination out there? I mean, come on. Like, they've had like this whole 3 years zero COVID policy. And like, don't you think they should have got everybody vaccinated during that time? And then just ending this policy all of a sudden, and then everybody in China has got COVID right now. Everybody that I speak to who are in China right now, they have had COVID or they have COVID. No exceptions. Seriously.
冠疫苗生产线，年产能超
With an annual production capacity of more than 7 billion doses.
过40
Is that the Sinovac, the Sinovac or whatever, like the most useless vaccine out there?
70亿剂，产量已经超过
And the total production capacity has exceeded 5.5 billion doses.
55
Okay.
亿剂，能够满足
So all of your people, what they're saying is all of our people are getting vaccinated. So why can't we come on over to your country without taking a PCR test? Even though for the last 3 years, China has not allowed any foreigners to go there really for travel purposes. Maybe for work purposes, yeah, sure, no problem. But for traveling, going over to China, the country has been pretty much closed off for the last 3 years. And foreigners who did want to go to China to work, they had to do some really strict quarantine when they got to China in a really expensive hotel room, sometimes 3 weeks of quarantine just to get into the country. And they had to take a PCR test before they got on the flight to prove that they didn't have COVID. And on top of that, a massive quarantine, like I just said. And then I think even sometimes you would have to isolate for another week after you got out of quarantine. Okay. So what right does China have to be saying any of this?
应接尽接的要求。 中国的疫情防控形势
China's epidemic prevention and control situation is accurate and controllable. We'll see more about that in a little bit, guys.
是可预判可控的。我们愿继续
We
通
are
过
willing to continue strengthen solidarity and cooperation. What? By making threats all the time? You know, saying that you're going to take action against countries, maybe economic action against countries that are demanding that people from China have to take a PCR test. And you're willing to continue to strengthen solidarity and cooperation? Give me a fucking break.
社会加强团结合作，更好的应
With
对
the
疫情
international community to better cope with the challenges. Yeah, right.
战，更好的保护人
Of the epidemic and better protect people's lives and health. Oh my God. So they had this massive zero COVID thing for 3 whole years of controlling people, making people stay in their homes, welding people into their homes. And now they say they care about protecting people's lives and health. Yeah, right. They really care about their people in China.
民生命健康。
Ridiculous. Alrighty, guys. So we're gonna just take a quick look at some news articles that have been posted recently. So this one is from Sky News, and it says China threatens retaliation over COVID-19 testing rules for travelers. Yeah, I mean, Jesus. So, I mean, when China blocked other countries for about 3 years entering into China, did we threaten action against them? Or did we just go along with whatever they said? I think we just went along with whatever they said, right? So what right do they have to threaten other countries about this? Seriously crazy this is, guys. Seriously mad. I'm just so annoyed by this. And it's just typical. It's just typical. Another article here from the Sydney Morning Herald. China threatens reciprocal action against countries imposing COVID tests on travelers. Once again, COVID is a serious problem in China right now. Like I said, almost everybody that I've spoken to who actually are in China right now have had COVID and have had a pretty bad time with it, to be honest with you. So it makes sense that other countries would impose these COVID tests on travelers from China, because we don't want to deal with this virus spreading again in our countries like it did at the beginning. You know, you never know. There could be new mutations happening in China as we speak that China hasn't really given us information about, because they're pretty good at hiding anything coming out of China that they don't want you to know about. So it wouldn't be a stretch to imagine that they could be hiding some serious new strain that's just ravaging the population right now. Who knows, right? You know, so it's really sensible to have people from China take this PCR test before they travel. It just makes sense. And how on earth does China have the right to shout and cry discrimination? This has nothing to do with discrimination. This is just the sensible thing to do. So yeah, they're threatening reciprocal action against countries imposing COVID tests on travelers. And once again, China says unacceptable. China blasts countries for imposing COVID tests on travelers. Like, they haven't been doing it for the last 3 years, and all of a sudden, and I think you still need a PCR test to get into China right now as we speak. So what the hell are they crying about? It's madness, guys, madness. Anyway, we're going to just continue looking at some more articles. I would read this for you. Let's just read what it says. It says COVID-19 screenings imposed by multiple countries on travelers from China are unacceptable to Beijing Foreign Affairs spokesperson Mao Ning. That's who we just watched a few minutes ago. She said at a press briefing on Tuesday. Oh yeah, we've seen all of this. We don't need to keep reading through this. It's crazy, guys. What on earth is going on? Okay. Yep. This is the important one then that I just wanted to quickly show you guys. So China now estimates COVID surge is infecting 37 million people a day. That's half the population of the UK. Do we really want infected people traveling across to the UK or other countries? No, we definitely don't. We really do not want this. That is why they have to take a PCR test. Just like if I want to go to China, which will never happen, by the way, I would need to take a PCR test to go to China. That's fair enough, okay? I think even if I wanted to go to Taiwan, I would have to do the same thing. Okay, so imagine 37 million people a day are infected with COVID in China right now. And that says it's China estimates it. But I just want to show you this, which I think is just completely ridiculous. This is the actual statistics coming out of China for how many people have had COVID and how many people have died of COVID. And if you see, it says 5,242 people have died from COVID in China, which I think is just absolute BS. This is ridiculous. Yeah. How can so few people have died in China from COVID? With such a huge population, it doesn't make sense. And I've seen the footage of outside crematoriums. There are hearses and cars lined up just to get into the crematoriums. I seriously doubt that this many people, this few people have died. It doesn't add up. So if these are the statistics coming out of China, can we really trust the Chinese government right now? What do you think? All right, let's continue. I got some more little things to look at. It's just going to be a little short stream. I was just so annoyed when I saw this news earlier. All right, so here are Chinese people traveling right now. All of them wearing their masks and stuff. Where they're headed, who knows? It's Spring Festival time soon, isn't it? A lot of this mass migration, this huge exodus that happens every single year. So this is going to be like another super spreader event, which is going to be crazy. And here's in some hospitals right now in China as well. Look at how packed out they are. Look at all of the sick people. I mean, you know, you've had some of these CCP shills. They've been going. A few of them have they went to a hospital and to see if it was true. You know, just one hospital out of how many hospitals in China. But yeah, they're on the ground reporting and showing you that the hospitals are not at full capacity and there are not many sick people in there. It's crazy, idiotic, ridiculous stuff. But yeah, look at this. I mean, it looks pretty dire to me. You know, all of them on with oxygen there. Yeah, looks pretty terrible, man. Pretty terrible. So yeah, this is the situation in China right now. All right, and there's a last thing that I wanted to look at very quickly, because just to show you that China has absolutely no right to be crying about people coming from China to other countries requiring a PCR test, because they've done exactly the same thing to other countries all around the world for the last 3 years. Okay, so they have absolutely no right to be crying about this. And here we go. This is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs back in March in 2020. This was when the virus was kind of a new thing. You know, it had been around for a few months, and China just suddenly closed their borders. So let's just read what it says, okay? It says, in view of the rapid spread of COVID-19 across the world, China has decided to temporarily suspend entry into China by foreign nationals holding visas or resident permits still valid to the time of this announcement. So even if you had a visa or a resident permit, you would not be allowed into China. And it was effective from 1 o'clock in the morning on the 28th of 12 o'clock in the morning on the 28th of March 2020. Entry by foreign nationals with APEC business travel cards will be suspended as well. So even business people could not go into China at this time, okay? So China closed off its borders in 2020 when there was a massive surge of COVID spreading all around the world. So now there is a massive surge of COVID spreading all around China. And we're not closing our borders to them. All we require is that they need a PCR test, a COVID test, to get on that flight and come to our countries. And if they have a negative result, then they can come. No problem. Yeah. So when COVID was spreading all around the world, what did China do? They just closed off. They laughed at us. They mocked us. There was just some horrible, horrible, horrible tweets coming from those government officials on Twitter, just mocking the rest of the world, how we were struggling with COVID and they were doing such a great job. And now look at what's going on. They're crying their eyes out because we are taking a page out of their book and we're actually getting wiser to what's going on in China. And we really should not trust their government at all. Okay. Now, I'm not saying we should close our borders. I'm saying that we should keep our borders open. Chinese people should be free to come to the UK. All they need to do is take a COVID test. Simple, isn't it, guys? I don't know, guys. What do you think about this? I'm going to get me up on full screen here. We're going to go through some of the chat. Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat, but I just wanted to plow through the material for today's stream. And yeah, man, if anybody wants to say something, you can say it now because, yeah, I haven't been checking the chat and I don't fancy going right through it all again. So Dieter Andrew, thank you for your super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. Catherine's Journey, not saying where boyfriend Wei went. Who is Catherine? Oh, yeah, I know that channel. Honestly, though, I don't really watch it, mate. Yeah. But I know what you're talking about. But what? So her boyfriend has gone missing or something? Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's see. Somebody said, very interesting. Where does China's air pollution come from? It probably comes from all of the freaking factories that are there. And, you know, China is the factory of the world. So, yeah. Okay, it's pretty sad. Not enough beds, too. Not a nice place to need help. And you're very right there, mate, because the hospitals in China are pretty atrocious from my experience. It's not the best place to get sick in China, to be perfectly honest with you. A lot of the hotels, not hotels, hospitals don't even have soap in the bathroom. Maybe that's changed. I don't know. Maybe they've become better over the years since I haven't been there. I highly doubt it. But yeah, man, not a good place to be getting sick. And it gets very costly if you have to stay in those hospitals for a long time. Sure, medical care in China is relatively cheap compared to the rest of the world. However, for a regular Chinese person who doesn't make a lot of money, that medical care is unaffordable. So that's a big problem, a huge problem. And thank you for pointing that out. Okay, let's see. Shout out to Dashan. Geez, we're not talking about Dashan. You're always talking about freaking Dashan, dude. All right, let's see. What have we got next? I think you should have a big COVID pool party in Yorkshire. Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it, man? Yeah, which is exactly what they did. They had this massive pool party in Wuhan to show off to the rest of the world. We should do the same, yeah. But we don't do shit like that. That's the thing, you know. What does Tao Nima mean in Chinese? You don't know that? Come on, dude. Basically, it means like go fuck yourself, but it translates as fuck your mother, but it's a really common phrase to say to people. I used to go and play pool in China, and every time somebody missed, they'd be like, Tao ni ma, Tao. You know what I mean? So it's quite common. It's not as offensive as some people would like to make out. It's very, very, I heard it all the freaking time in China. Let's see. Is Prime done? I don't know. I haven't spoken to Prime for a while. Maybe he's just got a real life, you know. He's actually doing stuff. Who knows? Okay, let's see. Chinese doctors at lung cancer clinics smoke cigarettes while with patients. That is true. One of my first hospital experiences in China was the doctor was smoking a cigarette and he offered me one. And yeah, I took one. I smoked at that time. Very bad. Okay. Maybe Guelo took his wife back to China for that state of the art treatment. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Howdy, howdy, Angry Vulcan. And did you see Rich the Shill left China? Did he? What, Nathan Rich left China? That shocks me. But it kind of doesn't. It kind of doesn't, you know. I think a lot of them have left China recently, and more will be because of this whole COVID situation. Okay, we should start welding the Chinese airplane doors shut to make them feel at home. No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do, we should never emulate what the CCP does. When we had all of those lockdowns, I couldn't believe that this was happening in the UK. You know, we should never emulate the CCP. Never. Okay. Hey, Daniel, how's it going, buddy? Okay, they do COVID pool parties in Florida. Yeah, dude, it's not going to be possible here in the UK unless it's an indoor pool because it's freaking freezing outside. There's a new shield for you to bust, an American called Jason Smith. Never heard of him, dude, but I'll look into it. That's cool. Jason Smith, eh? Yep, he posted it. Oh, cool. I'll check that out then. Nathan Rich leaving China, the place that he loves so much, you know. I wonder why he left. All right, guys, have you got anything else to say? Oh, here we go. We got some more people coming in. The people leaving China right now will be called refugees in a few months when their visas expire and they seek asylum. Yeah, man, I welcome Chinese people to come over to the UK. They're very cool, industrious people, man. We need some good, hardworking people here. You know, make our country better. That's what immigration's all about, right? Let's see. Do they really have Chinese police stations? No, dude, they have Chinese police stations. Did you not watch my video? So yeah. They have there's a few. There's one in, is it Edinburgh or Glasgow? Somewhere in Scotland. And there are two in London that me and my friend Stan went to check them out. So yeah, those are places, they do exist. We even spoke to people in the area as well. So yeah, some people said that they knew about them. Every Chinese person I ever met here in America says China is literally hell on earth. I wouldn't describe it as hell on earth. I think their government are hell on earth, but the country itself, you know, it's really a fun place to go. Before they started doing all of this COVID nonsense, but you know, there were signs of the country getting a bit weird because of the government. It was pretty much when good old Xi Jinping came into power. But it was always a bit weird. It was always a bit of a crazy place to be, you know. But it was fun. But I wouldn't say it's hell on earth, you know. Damn, Lewis, you can't fucking respond to sarcasm appropriately. What are you on about? Yeah, maybe I can't. Or maybe you need to sort of change your gags up a little bit. Let's see. I think China will close borders again and they realize people aren't coming back. Yeah, they might do, mate. They might do. They're very predictable though. And I think this is all just them blustering and acting like the tough guys and feeling sorry for themselves, as they quite often do. But we just have to laugh at it, you know. I saw they found a whole bunch of new ones from a further two Chinese provinces. A bunch of new what? You mean new strains of the virus? Oh. Okay, do Chinese people get their passport issued again to travel? I don't know, mate. I don't know anything about that. But I think that they said that after January the 8th, I think was the time when they were able to start traveling again, which is great for them. I think it's great. They've been in a perpetual lockdown for the last 3 years with this zero COVID thing, and they're finally getting the chance to travel and go somewhere. So it's really good for them. But the government, the government are spoiling it for them. They're just kicking up a massive fuss over nothing. Just deal with it, guys. Okay, see the Chinese woman stammer out of house and throw baby face down in the street. No, I didn't see that. PO list stations. Yeah, okay. Nathan Rich hasn't left. It's a clickbait title. All right, okay, cool. I will check that out. Okay, hey Lewis, first time joining stream again in a while. I'll be lurking, but keep up the good work. Cheers, buddy. All right, well, anyway, guys, this is just a quick stream. I just wanted to get that off of my chest. It's really, really just been so annoying having to see that, that they're just crying over something that they've been doing. They're just a bunch of hypocrites, They're just crying over something that they've been doing for the last 3 years to every single other country. And they're still doing it now. You still need a fucking PCR. Excuse my French. You still need a PCR test to get into China. So why are they crying about this? What is the problem? What is the problem?
This is Sparta!
What? What?
Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Just a quick one. I hope all of you are doing well, and I will see you all in the next stream. Bye for now.
Thank you.